I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. Mr. President, and I say this, I will end that war in one day. It'll take 24 hours. I know Zelensky well. I know Putin well. I would get that ended in a period of 24.
You can break that deal.
100%. It would be easy. That deal would be easy. A lot of it has to do with the money. A lot of it has to do with the military, that we're giving. But I would get that deal done within 24 hours. That war has to be stopped. That war is a disaster.
From the conference board that shows the Consumer Confidence Index dropped by 7 points in February. This marks the largest monthly decline in the index since August of 2021.
Shares have slumped by more than 9% amid a fall in sales in Europe. The electric vehicle maker posted lower sales across 5 European countries, including France and the UK. Joining us now to discuss this is CBS News foreign correspondent Remi Inocencio. Remi, why do we believe these sales are dropping? What's driving that?
Sure. Well, Errol, basically what Elon Musk has been talking about over the past, say, few months, ever since Donald Trump's election back to the White House, that has been fueling this anger, this frustration. Some even say disgust towards Musk, and they're taking it out on Tesla. Tesla now feeling the pain.
More than 140 million birds have been culled after getting sick in the past 2 years alone. The resulting egg shortage has caused prices to skyrocket. The average cost of a dozen eggs went from $4.15 US in December to $7.34 in February, a jump of more than 75%. And the U.S. Agriculture Department estimates those prices will rise another 40% this year.
A vote for Trump means your groceries will be cheaper. It'll also bring your grocery bill way down. I have more complaints on grocery. The word grocery, it's sort of simple word, but it sort of means like everything you eat. The stomach is speaking. It always does. And I have more complaints about that. Bacon and things going up, double, triple, quadruple. I don't like the tags very much. Look at that, up 46% eggs. Wow.
Economic squeeze continues to impact the price of eggs, and now there are reports of egg smuggling across the border. U.S. Customs officials say attempts to bring eggs into the U.S. from Mexico are rising.
What's your general sense about where this market is? Obviously, volatility has picked up recently. There are concerns over a slowdown in the economy, and certain areas and factors within this market have been quite upset lately.
We will stop Joe Biden's inflation disaster, and we will rebuild the greatest economy in the history of the world.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting. And I was watching 8:30, and everyone was watching the PCE deflator. I get all the data on my screen, and all of a sudden, that trade deficit came out. And I couldn't believe it. In fact, I thought it was a misprint. I mean, that's not only the biggest we've ever had in history, the change from the previous month was more than twice as great as any change we've ever had in the last 75 years. And I said, that's going to blow out GDP for the first quarter. But almost every analyst is now down in the 1 range for GDP this first quarter, which would be the slowest in 2.5 years, which would be below the Fed target and much lower than we thought in early January. So, I mean, this is now, a lot of what we, trade deficit subtracts from GDP in the accounting. Now, a lot of that's going into inventory. So once we get all the inventory data, some of that is going to come back. But listen, we've seen slowing on everything. Retail sales were not good in January. Jobless claims jumped above 240. Housing starts were not good. Home sales were not good. There's definitely a slowdown.
Of America were making a lot of money when I was president, and now they're not. They're doing horribly. It's really hard for them to make it. Inflation is absolutely killing them. Interest rates are just absolutely a disaster for them. You vote for me, I'm saving our farmers. Our farmers are going to do like they did 4 years ago. They did better than they've ever done. Thank you.
The government has purchased surplus grains from American farmers and sent them overseas to feed hungry communities from Africa and Asia to South America and Ukraine. The program is called Food for Peace, and in 2022, it provided 4 billion pounds of food to 58 million people. But tonight, all that is in jeopardy after the Trump administration's decision to freeze funding for USAID. Hundreds of millions of dollars and millions of tons of wheat, lentils, and rice are stuck in ports and warehouses across America and around the globe. We're joined now by Kansas farmers Vance and Louise Emke. Their farm produces grain that ultimately makes it overseas. Thank you both so much for your time. Vance, let's start with you. Your wheat farm has been in the family since the 1880s. How does it make you feel to know your grain has gone to help people who so desperately needed it overseas?
Well, we do have a humanitarian and moral obligation to help, get food to these food deficient areas. It's also really good for developing goodwill with the United States.
There's only so many Kansans, and we cannot clearly eat all the wheat that we produce or the grain sorghum. And so we rely on customers, whether that's USAID or other countries through USAID. We need customers to buy our product, or we're at SOL. I mean, we don't have a market, and it's critical, absolutely critical.